Monkey D. Garp, the hero of the Marine and the father of Revolutionary Dragon and grandfather of Monkey D. Luffy, he is without a doubt one of the most prominent character in the series. Right now, the future of this character is unknown, what is going to happen to him, but we know that Blackbeard is going to use him as a negotiation tool to get the title of the king for his country Hachinosu. And I think there is already these theories that Garp and Blackbeard will going to have the conversation about God Valley, because Blackbeard is actually one of the rocks who was the most important character in God Valley incident. So we can say that Garp have some roles in the future of the story, but I think there is more than that, because as we know that Blackbeard is going to use him as a negotiation tool, but I think as we know that world government hates D clan member or whatever they are. So I don't think that deal is going to be very easy for Blackbeard, because he is also D, and as we know that he is also one of the target of Imu. But as we know that Imu will not going to gain anything in this deal. You can say that he will get the resources from Blackbeard for his people, but do you really think he care about Celestial Dragon, and for them he will going to deal with one of his greatest enemies? I don't think so. If you really think that, I don't understand what have you been reading all this time, because he is an immortal demon who can kill millions of people without thinking twice. So I don't think he care about Celestial Dragon. And if we are not wrong that he is an immortal demon, so I don't think he actually care about at all. But I think this deal is going to happen because Oda teased it, and I think Imu can gain more than the support or the supplies from Blackbeard. As we know that the world government hates Garp, but they actually acknowledge his strength. So what can world government gain in this deal more than the supplies? Well, Garp himself. Don't forget that Garp himself alone is actually the most valuable asset in this deal. And why I am saying that? Listen, I think Garp still has more to offer to the story than we actually thought. And I have a theory that where this character is going to be. So for the regarding of the theory, I think this deal between Imu and Blackbeard is going to happen, and world government will take Garp. But as we know that Garp is not someone who will going to submit to Imu at all. And even in recent chapter it was confirmed by rocks that Garp actually hates Celestial Dragon, but still Celestial Dragon is keeping him because of his strength. So even though world government hates Garp, they still respect his strength, and I think that's where the story is going. As we know in the Elbar Park, Imu have the power to turn people into demon, and he did it with Dory and Brogy and some other giants, and those giants become even stronger than they were before. What if Imu actually turned Garp into a demon? Imagine Garp with regeneration power, and don't forget that Garp is already a monster. And he shows us that in Hachinosu raid that he go against entire Blackbeard pirates, not entire but half of the Blackbeard pirates, and in which Aokiji was the part of it, and he still overpowered them. So again, Garp is already a monster. If he gained those regeneration abilities and those monstrous strength, he will be unstoppable. And I think he will be stronger than he was in his prime. I was thinking of this theory from when I see Gorosei's power, how they actually using Imu's power one way or another. But I don't have the proofs, because Garp was actually a Conqueror's Haki user, and I don't think that he will submit to Imu at all, because I always thought that Conqueror's Haki user don't submit to anyone until they want to. But in my theory, I need Garp to fight from the world government side. So I was thinking how it can be possible until Herald, who was one of the strongest characters in old generation, who was also the Conqueror Haki user, actually submit to Imu, and he was actually dominated by Imu and become a demon. And because Herald turned into a demon, that solidified my theory. And now I think that Imu have the power to submit anyone, and I think he can actually submit Garp himself and make him a demon and control him as a puppet, just like he did with Herald. So if Garp is controlled by Imu, then what? Well, the real theory started wrong. Monkey D. Dragon. He is one of the most important character in the series, and we know nothing about him and his power. And we know that Oda is holding him back from the start. And as we know that he will going to fight world government. And we have actually speculated who is going to be the opponent. Some people say that it will going to be Akainu, or some people say it will going to be Imu. And now the rumors were like maybe Figarland Garling. But I think the opponent that Dragon is going to face when he is going to fight against world government is none other than Garp. Why I am putting Garp over Imu and these characters as an opponent for Dragon? Listen, Garp is already a prominent character and a strong individual that is established in the story. I know that other characters are strong, but as we know that Imu will not going to lose to Dragon at all, because people is already theorizing that he will going to kill by Blackbeard, but I don't think so that's going to happen. But for me, I think Imu is Luffy's opponent. It is very clear that he will going to be defeated by Luffy, and I don't think he will going to fight dragon. And same with Garling. I think there are other characters that can fight with Garling than the dragon. And for Akainu, I think Luffy has his personal vendetta against him. And we know that he actually hates Akainu. And I'm not saying that these characters doesn't make sense. I think they all make sense. One of the main reasons why I think they cannot fight against dragon, because we don't know how strong these characters are. Why is that important though? Because first of all, dragon is not going to lose his first fight, so whoever he is going to face need to be strong. But as we know that Akainu is not that strong, if he is still strong as Aokiji. And Garling, we don't know nothing about how strong he was or he is. Imu will not going to lose to dragon, so we need an opponent who is already well established, strong individual. And I think Garp is that character. He is already a monster who can corner Aokiji, who might be equal to Akainu if Akainu didn't get any stronger. But still, one of the best thing about One Piece that everything makes sense. You can create theories and the possibilities are always there for them. But I think Garp will going to be the opponent of Dragon, because he will going to be Domi reversed by Imu and become a demon. Why I think this fight will going to make more sense than we actually thinking. First of all, Garp versus Dragon, already a top tier matchup. Because we already know that Garp in his Domi reverse with Imu's power is going to be a monster. And Dragon is already a monster. I think people just, even though people actually give him a fraud or whatever they call him, but I still think that Oda is holding him for a reason. And I think when he will going to show his power and his true potential, that will shut some people's mouth. Because Dragon is very important character to the story, and people just forget that he is the father of Monkey D. Luffy, the main character, and Oda is holding him from a long time. And I think Dragon have a potential to be as strong as Prime Whitebeard. And for me, Prime Whitebeard is top 1 if you put god tier characters like Joy Boy, Ryuma and Imu aside. And there is a solid reason to believe in that. So because Prime Whitebeard already have the Haki as strong as Rogers, and he also have a devil fruit that can destroy the world. And I think Dragon already have Haki comparable to Prime Garp, and I think he also have a devil fruit. That's what I think. But again, what I don't want them to fight for the sake of hype. I think this fight can offer more than we actually thinking. First of all, it will going to give us the relationship between these two characters, as we actually assuming what were the relationship like between this father-son duo. And not just that, we actually will going to see both of their backstories. Especially people talk about how Dragon's backstory will going to be one of the best stories, but I think we need to know about Garp's backstory too, because this guy actually hates Celestial Dragon and they still become a marine. I think Garp's backstory is also going to be the very important part of this fight, as well as Dragon's backstory. And not just that, imagine how much information we can get about this Monkey D family. For example, why Dragon become revolutionary even though he was trained by Garp. And not just that, the emotional impact that this fight can offer from the both characters is going to be amazing, because this is classic father-son fight, but with some surprising element like Imu is controlling Garp and Dragon need to defeat his father, the one who taught him everything. And as we know that Dragon is very different character than from Luffy and Garp. So I just wanna know how he don't have those personality, and why he tried to go against world government even though his father is actually a marine. And we can get the flashback how Luffy was born and his mother and everything that we don't know about Dragon, everything that we want to know about Dragon, we can get this from this fight. Father-son relationship between him and Garp, the reason why Dragon left Luffy and who is Luffy's mother, everything we want to know, we will get about this character. Also, we will find out all the mysteries and lore about Dragon, and the hype about this fight will going to be insane. Imagine Demon Garp versus Dragon, and don't forget that this Garp will going to be stronger than the Prime One himself. Why I am saying that? Listen, when Imu Domi reverse Dory and Brogy, they become even stronger than they were before. So imagine Garp, who is already very strong, will get the regeneration power and will get his physical condition at the top, not just like he was in his prime. Or maybe he will be even stronger than he was in his prime. And I think Dragon will going to beat Garp, and that will going to solidify him as one of the strongest character in the series. And not just that, imagine the scenario that Dragon defeated Garp and then he was defeated by Imu. That will give us the hype of Garp and the hype of Dragon, and the same time you can hype Imu. Even though Imu don't need the hype, and we can get something from him, actual conversation between him and Dragon, or maybe a flashback of why Dragon started the revolutionary army, or just a simple good guy and bad guy conversation. But we know when Imu defeat Dragon, he will going to obviously capture him, and maybe he will actually going to execute him. And not just that, and then this will going to actually influence another incident, and this incident will going to force Revolutionary to join hand with Straw Hat, because we know that when Straw Hat will going to find the One Piece, it will going to start a war, and the forces Straw Hat pirates have and are still not enough to compete with world government. And we know that both Revolutionary and Straw Hat pirates, they can't win against world government alone, so they have to unite it against it, and they have to be united, because we know that after Dragon, Sabo is going to be the leader of Revolutionary, and as we know that Sabo is actually the brother of Luffy, so both of them fighting together against world government makes sense. But why I created this theory? Because just like others, I also believed that Dragon is going to fight Akainu or Imu, but I realized it is One Piece, so you need to think from out of the box, and that's how I come up with this idea, or you can say this theory of Dragon fighting Garp. So I think Garp's final stand going to be against his son Dragon, because I don't see another route for this character. And that's all for this video. So I hope you like this theory, and if you are first time on this channel, like and share the video and subscribe the channel for more One Piece content, and tell us your thoughts about this theory in comment section.